Tonight on Screen Geeks, we're going to discuss the latest trailer from Ghostbusters Afterlife and go over the latest toy news. Woo! Hello, everybody, and welcome to Screen Geeks. My name is Jay, and this random stranger just showed up on the stream. Ralph has shaved his beard.
It had to happen. You guys, you don't even know what it's like. I try to mold it and make it look presentable, and just after a while, it's just curly hairs mixed with straight hairs, and all start from scratch.
About my beard, I need to trim it up. I'll trim it up. I never go full. Baby face right from time to time. It always throws me off. But anywho, we are here because for Ghostbusters fans, this was a glorious day. We had the what you call the full trailer 2, whatever you want to call it, drop a year and a half after the first trailer dropped. And go ahead.
Why wasn't this all on Ghostbusters Day?
You're right. That's what
I mean. I feel like it was all waiting.
Yeah. Maybe I don't know. Maybe they're still trying to lock in the date, because Thanksgiving is even later than I think the last time we had a date. So, so maybe that's why they're kind of trying to hone in on a release date. I think Thanksgiving weekend's that's a great movie week, release week. I have a lot of fond memories going to the movies. Thanksgiving week, usually that Wednesday when you're off of school or whatever, or half day at school. So I think that choice is awesome. Maybe that's why. But you're right. A lot of these things, both the toy reveals and the trailer drop today, very much were the things we were expecting for Ghostbusters Day that we did not get. But still excited we got them nonetheless. And we're going to be talking about them tonight on Screen Geeks. But before we get into that, I want to see who is in the chat. Fish Tropic is here. Cobweb, who you going to watch? Geek Dad Life. Thanks, Cobb. Alex Martinez, Orale, que pasa, my friends? Que pasa, Alex? And Landros already responded to this one, but Jay enjoyed seeing you emotional with the trailer. When you have memories of youth, simpler, happy times, hits and feels amazing. Like when my Cubs won the World Series, watching episode 199. Yeah, I'm a diehard Padre fan my whole life. I still get misty-eyed when I see that last out for the Cubs, and you see Bill Murray just like that shot of Bill Murray emotional watching. Anyways, it is emotional. Space Cowboys is here. I am the keymaster. Are you the gatekeeper? All music. All right. Who brought the dog? John is going to miss out on Ghostbusters this night. Here's the thing about John. He's an early riser, so he is up for staying up late one night a week. That's the maximum that we can get of John at nighttime.
Didn't he say he hated Ghostbusters?
He doesn't hate Ghostbusters. Let's not start fights now. Come on now. John Rose is here. Free reign. Colleen, Ralph, you shaved. Yes.
Yeah, sorry. I literally shaved right before I came on. I buzzed it today because it was driving me bonkers, and then right before I came on, I shaved. I look a little red right there.
Raw right there, a little raw. Riley Bob still wiping away the nostalgic tears. I cannot wait. J-Mac is here. This trailer is the first one in a while to get me excited. Me too. Brandon 3G, so excited for this movie. Agreed. Tree Shaker. Damn, Ralph looking sharp. There you go. Tree Shaker's digging it.
All right.
But
I feel weird. I feel really weird.
It is.
It gets me too. But listen, by the time we do our next show, the majority of it will be back. Don't worry.
It grows really, really fast. Ghostbusters, The Force Awakens. Yeah, we'll talk about it in the trailer, but the music was darn near identical to the Leia theme for I think the last Star Wars trailer. It's very similar kind of crescendo to it, even though it was the kind of hero theme from Elmer Bernstein's score. So we'll definitely talk about that. And Helder, I saw the clip with you. The movie looks great. Going to go see. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And the toys on the way. Agreed. We're going to talk about all of that tonight. Big Ghostbusters Day, and excited to talk about it. But first things first, that trailer dropped this morning, 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. I did a trailer reaction, and generally, and you can see, and that's my true live reaction. I had not seen it. I hit record and watched it live, and I'm not always big on doing that live because it's risky, because you don't know what the response will be, or will it even translate well, like will it be entertaining.
I feel like those trailer reactions are tough because people are watching you, so you want to make sure you say something during it when you really just kind of want to watch it.
Exactly.
But I feel like by the end of the trailer, when that music did kick in, I could see you go from like trying to sort of be there for the viewers to just enjoying it yourself.
Yeah. It was, I'm glad I got it on tape, but I didn't expect to get emotional, but like real tears. Like I had a hard time speaking at the end of it. So it was a really weird take that I did not expect. Even though I am a sap and I do cry really easy. Like that experience, my wife, anytime there's anything emotional in a movie or something, she'll look at me waiting for that tear to drop.
Like, but you haven't seen these characters since 1989.
True. Yeah.
I mean, that's a long time. And you think about Ghostbusters every single day. There isn't a day where you don't think about Ghostbusters.
There might be. No, it's true. It's probably not.
No, probably. But I'm not saying it's a bad thing. But I mean, after, I don't know how many years that is. 30, 25, 30 years almost.
30.
More than 30? 32?
89, that's 32 years.
Yeah. So to see Janine, even though you've probably seen Annie Potts a million times in other stuff.
Yep.
But with just knowing it's Janine, but with the glasses, and the accent.
Yep.
Like that's enough. And just to see Ray's arm is enough. Like, I mean, even in 2016, they were all in the movie.
Yep.
But they weren't Janine and they weren't Ray.
Correct. Yep.
And it
didn't hit the same. It didn't hit the same. It almost felt like, oh man, it's kind of a bummer. You had them all there.
Yeah.
And again, that's not, I am not of the ilk that just craps on 2016 Ghostbusters.
Right, me either.
I actually think it's a fun movie. Right. And I think we both agree, Ralph, that the main flaw of it is it basically ignored the previous canon. I think even Ivan Reitman says the same, when I've seen him at Comic-Con or whatever. He says the biggest mistake they made was kind of rebooting it and completely ignoring the previous canon.
Right.
So I do think that's probably the biggest mistake that we made. Other than that, I thought it was funny. I laughed. I enjoyed the movie. And it brought back High C Ecto Cooler. So there's plenty of positives there out of that era. But this trailer specifically, even more so than the first one, hit me a lot harder, and excited to kind of break this thing down. And I haven't seen the Jason Reitman breakdown out of the trailer, but it's just time and time again seeing Jason Reitman talk about this film and seeing how emotionally connected he is to the property and how much he is a fan of the property, and it's genuine.
He's probably thought of Ghostbusters every single day of his life.
Yep. And so seeing the clips, and we haven't seen the whole movie yet, but seeing every single time, just seeing more and more of how much love for the property was put into this. Yeah. Hits us Ghostbuster fans really hard. I think that's been the reaction that I've seen from the Ghostbuster fans has been very similar to mine and your reaction today to the trailer, which is awesome. Yes. Let's get into it. I think Tree Shaker, seeing the old school color effects, absolutely 100%. And I think that was the shift for me. If you watch my reaction trailer, because most of it was clips we had already seen before to that point.
Right.
But once the blast out of, and I have the trailer here so we can look at it and kind of talk about it while we're doing it here. But once, because most of this, I mean, some new clips, but most of what we've seen before. So we had this, which I thought was cool with the cars. So clear, this is how they're getting the parts to kind of keep Ecto-1 going, which I thought was kind of cool.
Right.
You have this awesome picture of the original crew from the first film. And yeah, and then you have Annie Potts, Janine Milner,
and with the I don't know if that's like a giraffe print or leopard print.
Yeah,
like it still fits her character, but she's
like, the red glasses, and you know, if there is a bit of fan service here, there, especially if I remember the early days of online Ghostbusters community, like late 90s, late 90s, early 2000s, the Janine and Spangler shippers was a very strong contingent of the online Ghostbuster community. And, I've seen a lot of people comment like, does this mean they actually were together? Or they did end up together before he died? Or, Carrie Coons is a bit older. Like if the last time we saw them was in 89, chronologically speaking, when was she born? Like when does this all kind of fit in? Because she said your dad, because I thought Carrie Coon's character was going to be an in-law, not the actual daughter of Egon Spangler. So we don't know for sure. I don't think we know for sure, but if this ends up being like that, her and Egon did end up getting together, I think that's a really sweet it tugs at the heartstrings for me personally.
Yeah. It's definitely something that felt set up in the first one.
Yep.
Their relationship.
But it shifted in the second, where it was like the Louis Tully thing, which was fun.
Mm-hmm.
But still, I'm curious to see how that plays out. But it's really cool. Like if she's the grandma, I don't know why. I just think that's really cool. If that's the case. But who knows? She could also just be like, she's Egon's friend and she's here, kind of showing him around the farmhouse or whatever. So that was pretty cool. And we see kind of different scenes of the Ecto-1, which is awesome. Some people have commented on how this bib that he is Finn Wolfhard is laying on, working on the car, is the same blanket that Ray was using in that scene from the first movie. But even the shot and everything, it's so similar to when Dana Barrett walks into the firehouse for the first time.
Right.
Which is awesome. But yeah, so there's this kind of this right here, because in the original trailer, this is that kind of mine shaft at the Shandor Mining Company. This shifted originally in the trailer, it was green,
right?
But then they shifted to this very first movie kind of orange red color, and I was like, oh. This, I don't know, just it connected with me in a more slimmer way. Did it hit you the same way or similar?
Yeah, I noticed the change. I remember it being green in the original and thinking it didn't look very Ghostbusters like.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, really, the only thing like I could think of that's sort of green like that would be Slimer.
Yep.
But when they shut off the power grid and the roof explodes.
Mm-hmm.
Like this is the color you see coming out of it. This in a purple, like a
purple pink,
sort of like orangish and a purple. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I like that it has the feel, because even when it was green, didn't look the same.
Correct.
It looked more
like 2016
modern. Yeah.
So I really dig this change, and so that's kind of shifting for me here. Cool kind of driving scene. We had a couple of YouTube clips, and we had the classic, first Ghostbusters commercial, and you had the voices of Harold Ramis and Dan Aykroyd and Bill Murray, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And PKE meter, things are shifting in the house. I assume we have pretty much the same mini puff clip that we saw a few months ago,
right?
But we had this scene. I don't think was in there.
Where they're riding on the Roomba.
And there was we had him hitting the foot, but we didn't have this more pulled back scene. And this scene with the little umbrella piercing through his head.
Oh yeah. to make like a snowman nose. And I like that one kicks the orange jelly bean.
Yeah. So, but then a little bit later, I think we go back to this scene. But then I'm assuming this is in the Shandor mine. We have like a Gozer altar of some sort.
Right.
It's just like, oh crap. That's
like
Gozer.
the unmistakable flat top.
Yep. Aim for the flat top. And something else I noticed here, and I don't know if it'll lighten up a little. There it is. So in this, you have what I believe is going to be the Build-A-Figure for the next wave of Plasma Series figures. We'll talk about that when we look at the actual figures. But to the left and right, instead of being flanked by the Terror Dogs, Zool and Vince Clortho, we have what I believe is being called the Sentinel, the Gozer Sentinel. Let me make sure I get this right. I believe it was on Hasbro Pulse. Is it here? Yeah. The Sentinel Terror Dog is what they're calling it. At least that's what Hasbro is calling it. And we'll see it a little bit later. But so this is what I think is what they're calling the Sentinel Terror Dog, which is a variant of the other Terror Dogs, which I think is kind
of. Will like who's going down into this mine shaft? Is it just 4 kids, 3 kids? Are they going to need those bodies to turn into the Terror Dogs?
Oh God, yeah.
Is it the adults? Is it?
It's true. Yeah, is our Carrie Coons and Paul Rudd's characters, are they the ones that are going to be possessed?
Keymaster,
Gozer,
and Gatekeeper,
right? And
Gatekeeper,
Keymaster and Gatekeeper. Yeah.
I don't know. Could be.
And then you have very like Pompeii-esque. Looks like these humans have been either they're part of the structure or they've been frozen by a Gozer, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of demented, really. And then you have this very close encounters with a third kind. That's what I was kind of feeling of this scene. But
I like all the little ghosts, the little sparkle ghost trails in there.
Yep. And it's like it's an homage to the sky opening up above Dana Barrett's apartment. Very similar. But this is clearly happening, I assume, in the mine or the mountain or whatever where the mine is. And again, you're talking about the look and feel. Like this lightning strike, kind of the purple lightning strike, is just totally evokes the feeling of the first movie.
Yeah.
And the effects of the first movie, which is really exciting. And then this kind of altar and this portal starts to open up, and you see things kind of coming up within the flames. And then we have this more highlighted shot of the Gozer statue
and the little ghost trails with the purple lens flares.
Yep, the
straight out of Ghostbusters.
I believe it's magic. I believe it's magic.
What's up with the beginning of that song?
It's completely different.
I'm like,
on that soundtrack, I was like, that's not the song for a while. And then eventually I just let it play instead of skipping it.
It's like, what, 2 minutes, 3 minutes?
2 minutes into that song to get to the good stuff that the magic song we all know and love.
Right.
But so then this little scene, and then boom, just like for a millisecond.
That's her arm.
Yeah, that's her arm. That's the flat top of Gozer coming out of this mine shaft, whatever it is. And this kind of has a lot of questions for me. Where is this the Gozer, or is this just an apparition of Gozer? Because remember, Gozer can be anything it wants to be. It's been the state stuff. It's been the flat top form, which is in this altar. But do you think this version of Gozer is going to be the big bad of the movie, or do you think it's something else?
I feel like in the tradition of Ghostbusters, you want a big giant thing.
Yep.
What that giant thing is going to be, I don't know. I mean, you got the mini puffs. I'd like to see the mini puffs turn into a larger, like Voltron style.
Yeah.
But at the same time, like, how much of the same stuff are we going to see?
Yeah.
At what point do you have to make some new stuff? And I feel like we'll get something big,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't know what.
Yeah.
I don't know what. And I think that's not going to be. It's going to be saved until.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
I hope that's held in a lock and key because I agree. I want to be surprised by it. You know, like Stay Puffed. I don't know what it was like to be surprised by that in the movie theaters because it was already it was already a character I knew when I watched it on tape for the first time.
When I first saw Ghostbusters, and you see the head walking through the skyline, and there's like the water tower in front.
Yep.
I thought it was Bob's Big Boy.
Oh, really?
Right. Yeah. And I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then I was like, oh, who's that? Because of course I didn't know to look at the marshmallow package.
Yeah.
I was too busy looking at the eggs. So I didn't know anything. I didn't know about foreshadowing. I don't know how old I was then in 1984.
Well, you're 7. Yeah, 7.
7. Yeah. So I mean, but yeah, I was convinced it was Bob's Big Boy, which I would still love to see, like real corporate mascots as ghosts possessed. I think that would be a lot of fun.
No,
and Bob's would be perfect.
Bob's Big Boy would be a good one, to be honest. Because it's a small town. Bob's Big Boys are still around, and it's kind of that type of restaurant that maybe would be in a small town.
And he's the perfect mix of Stay Puft Marshmallow Man and the Statue of Liberty holding up the
You're right. You're right. That's a very good call out.
But I don't know if we have Walmart here, so we may have a Bob's Big Boy. But he'd have to be a really big boy.
Well, again, it's going to choose the destructor, right? And I guess if the kid and as we assume the 3 surviving Ghostbusters are going to help bring down the big bad, maybe, you know, who chooses the form of the destructor?
Ray again? Did he learn his lesson? Is it going to be one of those things where the destructor starts coming and they all look at Ray and he's like, I swear I didn't do it this time? Like, is it going to be that kind of thing?
It should be. I'd be fine with that.
I hope whatever it is, I hope it's super surprising.
Brandon 3G has a question. It could be funny to call back if it's J. Edgar Hoover showed up to destroy him.
I'd be fine with that too.
I remember as a kid, I was like, I looked up who J. Edgar Hoover was just so I could know what it would look like if J. Edgar Hoover. It's like those jokes as a kid that you didn't get, and then as an adult, it made more sense. But Colleen says, honest question based on a comment I read earlier this evening, do you think people complain that the story center on the kids rather than center on the Ghostbusters growing up? I'm sure people will complain because that's right. But I think on the whole, I think people like the idea of passing the torch. Passing the torch movies have been done before, and with varying degrees of success and varying degrees of fan pushback. And for better or worse,
it drives me nuts.
It does for me as well. But I think there is a history to this Ghostbusters The Next Generation because you had Extreme Ghostbusters, which did exactly that. And I think it was a fantastic show that is on. I think they post just about every episode on Ghostbusters on YouTube. And my kids prefer the Extreme Ghostbusters cartoon to the real Ghostbusters cartoon. I think in part because of the kind of the next generation kids taking it on kind of thing, because they feel more connected to it in the same way that Spider-Man, I think, connects the kids better than Superman because there is this connection to a character that's closer to them than, you know, these grown-ups. So I think on the whole that people will be okay with it much more than maybe some other different ways of going about it. All Music Fan, yes, passing the torch is the way to go, and hopefully then it leads to more films. We don't know how that could shake out, which would be great.
Right, and just be happy that we get Ray. We know we're getting Ray.
Well, I think we knew all of them were showing up,
right? And
the images today we got the new toys confirms they're all going to be showing up, and we'll look at those after we kind of go through the rest of this trailer. But this was awesome. Transformers blow. And then this coming from the mountain, like, I freaking loved the ghost beams, just like when everything goes haywire in New York City. I freaking love this.
It even looks like the old hand-drawn animation. Look at that. Look at those strings. That right there. Mm-hmm. That's it.
And it does look like the hand-drawn, because even oh yeah, I don't want to miss that. But even right here, it kind of has like the glow, kind of has like the extra circle that would be around the effect as it was coming through. Like it had that look. I love the level and attention to detail that I'm seeing here in these clips. That really, because it's something that was lost in the 90s, the kind of the special editionization of special effects, were kind of lost a bit of the tactile analog special effects of the 80s. That for some weird reason lost a bit of its realism in doing that. I don't know why, but like the effects in Ghostbusters, I feel, even though you can see the lines and stuff like that, I feel it holds up better than some of the special effects in the 90s do. And I don't know, do you have any like reasoning for why maybe it connects in our head better than maybe some of that 90s stuff did?
Not sure. The 90s stuff always just looks so glossy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what it is. I really don't know what it is. Yeah. Animation, hand-drawn animation is done by an artist.
Yeah.
And maybe in the 90s, they weren't getting artists to do, computer animation. They were getting programmers to do it. True. So it didn't have that sort of artistic feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It was more, let's try to make it look realistic.
Yeah.
Instead of focusing on like story. I don't know.
Yeah. There is just something about, or at least to me in my mind, what it hits better. And it doesn't, even though the effects are antiquated, they don't feel like hokey, like some of the, like there was Jurassic Park was like the last, like it had the computer animation, but it still had the tactile stuff, and it still it holds up today. But then Lost World, it's like it charts into that hokey, like more hokey. It doesn't look as real to me.
Right.
That's kind of post the special editions.
That's like I've been having issues with Pixar movies.
Mm-hmm.
Because Pixar movies they've been pushing and pushing and pushing into realism.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, why is Brave an animated movie?
Mm-hmm.
All the trees are hyper realistic. Hair is hyper realistic. The humans are somewhat designed, not human like, but I haven't seen Luca yet, but I'm excited because it looks like animation. Like it looks like
and it does. It is.
Yeah, it's not.
We loved it.
Right.
And it's the first Pixar movie in a while that didn't like try to force an existential crisis on an adult.
Right. Yeah.
Which I do appreciate it in Pixar films, but it was just very much a lighthearted, fun adventure.
Right.
And then right after this, one of the true scary scenes of the first film is the taxi cab driver. And here we have obviously a nod to that, but with the coal miner, kind of zombie coal miner.
But what's great is that shot in Ghostbusters 1 was one that left an impression when I was a 7-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Like he just turns and stares right down the barrel of the camera.
Yeah.
And it freaked me out.
Oh, yeah.
But that's like the only kind of ghost you see like that in all of Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
And Ghostbusters 2. And I think Answer the Call.
Train Tunnel had the windstorm. That was also another really creepy scene. Remember that? The heads on the pikes and everything? Woo. But
mostly the ghosts were like a puppet special effect superimposed. But here's this cab driver who is like a decomposing skeleton.
Yeah.
And so to bring this guy into the fold, it's like, oh, we haven't seen one of these in a while.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which is kind of cool. And he looks like he's going up to the counter to get a cup of coffee. So he may have like wandered out of the mine, not realizing he's dead.
Yeah.
And is coming out and just going through his routine, which is pretty creepy.
It is. It is.
But I love this because it definitely feels like the taxi cab ghost. possessed skeleton.
It was always like the taxi cab driver, or the zombie. Really, it's not so much a ghost, like an undead person.
So more of these is cool.
Yeah, 100%. And then
this dude.
So we saw it in the kind of the statue form at the Gozer altar inside the mine, the Shandor mine.
Okay, so these are the Guardians.
And yeah, so I think this is the Sentinel Terror Dog, mainly because of what we saw in that statue in the trailer, and then also this is going to be the Build-A-Figure for the next series of Plasma Series figures.
Go.
The horns are kind of big and kind of shoot out like that. Yeah. And so this is that. And what I find interesting here is we said kind of when we saw the two Sentinels, nice. It does have kind of the
Volcar. It looks like Volcar
from Fireball Island. But we joked that maybe Paul Rudd's character and Carrie Coon's character will be, the possessed terror dogs for this film.
So this could be the third one possessing him.
Well, so yeah, if you look, this is Paul Rudd.
Yeah.
And this is, this
because or did we see? Yeah, we saw the terror dog in Dana's apartment and the one get Lewis. So okay. I think you're onto something.
Yeah. Dartharian, have we talked about toy spoilers? No, we'll talk about that next, Dartharian. That's after this one. And it's kind of toy spoilers, not too heavy, because again, most of what we saw is what we're seeing in the trailer, or we knew based on press that it was going to happen.
Right.
But anywho, so I really dig this, and this is what I assume blows past these school buses that we saw in the first trailer, and we see Phoebe here. And then
her glasses red.
What's that?
Her glasses red?
I think it's just maybe they're dark red.
Okay, just wondering.
But we again, if we're kind of saying Lewis, who's the Lewis Tully of this film, I think it's Paul Rudd, because this is a very Lewis Tully moment. Him running out of his apartment, jumping into Central Park and going to Tavern on the Green.
Right.
When I first time I went to New York City and Colleen took me on a tour of New York City, went to again, talk about kudos to Colleen. She lived in New York City when we first started dating. And when my first visit to her there, the first thing she did with me when I went to New York City was take me to all the different filming locations for Ghostbusters. So then and there, knew she was a keeper. And it was really disappointing because I think Tavern on the Green, a pretty famous restaurant that Lewis Tully's like, please somebody let me in, was closed. So we saw it, but I didn't get to eat in the restaurant. But anywho,
did you go bang on the windows?
No, it's kind of closed off. But I didn't get to have that moment.
Yeah,
somebody let me in.
Nice dog.
Nick Donder, you should marry her again. I would. I'd marry her every day.
Oh, do it. We'll be on the plane. Yeah, we'll be on the plane. If it's anything like your first wedding.
It was a good wedding. Our plans were 2020. This year. It was 2011. For our 10-year anniversary, we're going to do a Hawaii thing. But, the pandemic happened. So maybe for our 15-year anniversary, you will definitely be invited, Ralph.
Cool.
So, yes, we have. And I assume this happens after the mini puff thing, because he's in Walmart getting ice cream stuff.
And this is nighttime also, so I don't think it ties to the previous scene.
No, but this is the first time that kind of the terror dog goes after him, maybe calls, to him, so to speak. But still, I freaking love this scene, and I love
that it does the slide.
Yeah. It's just a really cool scene. And then we have more footage of the Ecto one. And for the first time, we saw the gunner seat, right? But we actually scenes or parts of this scene that we saw actually digitally removed the RC ghost trap. But now we got to see it for the first time come out. And this whole sequence, I can't wait to see the whole thing live, because it just looks like so much fun. And then you also
thing I like about this ghost.
the Stay Puffed advertisement on the store there.
Oh.
Kind of cool. Almost identical to the advertisements when the containment unit explodes. The beam is going up in the air, and there's a Stay Puft ad on the side of the building, just like this one, which is really cool.
Let's look at this ghost.
Yeah. Muncher is his name. I keep calling him Chomper for some reason, but Muncher's his name. Oh,
it looks like a classic Ghostbuster ghost, without being a straight up Ghostbuster ghost.
Yep. Like, oh,
love it.
Yeah.
Look at the beams. Look at the
beams look great. Again, for being obviously more computer animated, it looks and feels like the old school special effects. Which
and this ghost design looks like something you would see in like the real Ghostbusters line. Real potato-y face. Actually, looks like me right now. Shaved. I just need to look a little more worried.
The first design for Slimer is Jim Belushi, and a little known fact: the design for Muncher is Ralph Oppel. So you have
sweet. I would have gone with John Candy because he was supposed to be.
Yeah, like could this be John Candy? You know, if we're kind of a nod to Fallen, Second City.
Yeah, who was supposed to be in Ghostbusters 1, but
he
didn't work out.
No, I think just didn't dig the character or whatever. And then Rick Moranis came up with the idea that he was a nerd, which I just love that was his idea. Space Cowboy is Muncher Slimer's kid. Maybe that'd be fun. I love this comment from Dartherian. Walmart is a place to get possessed by hellhounds. Guess that's no big surprise. One of my favorite comments on my previous video, and I'll bring up again on Toy Geeks and put a screen cap to it. But and the person said, so I guess the Terror Dog's a Walmart exclusive.
It's pretty good.
It's a good joke. And then it just again, we already kind of were spoiled this was a thing, but it just looks so cool in action. The RC Ghost Trap was awesome.
How many people are making them already?
Right?
I mean, I feel like you can make this.
100%. And that's kind of what's neat about a lot of the Ghostbusters tech is it's kind of has that homemade feel to it, which I love. I've always loved since I was a kid. So again, this is
look at that beam. Look at the beam hitting the ground.
Yep.
And leaving marks.
So the title comes up. We have this scene again of that original commercial.
Geek Dad Life.
And there's no Geek Dad Life there. Shut up.
Yeah, go back. Right there on the right. Isn't that you?
That's not me. That is not me. God, that'd be so cool. If I could just even a sliver be of something in a Ghostbuster movie, I would die. But anyway.
Get the number.
A lot of comments about it's not the Ecto 1A. Are they erasing the history of Ghostbusters 2? Well, here you go. Raise a Cult, the bookstore in Ghostbusters 2, makes an appearance here. Tons of salt lamps, which I know my wife is big on. She's like really into the occult and spiritual stuff. And we have a salt lamp. And you've been to our house. You probably saw the salt lamp that we have that Colleen made us get.
Right. Something, what I like about this is Ray kept the phone number.
Right?
Yeah.
We assume, right? We assume it's the same phone number.
I'm assuming. Why else would you? It's the easiest way to get them in touch with Ray, especially by telephone.
Mm-hmm.
And I like that it's a red phone, like Batman.
Mm-hmm. I'm trying to remember I'm pretty sure it was the same phone in Ghostbusters 2. I have to go back and watch the clip, but I'm pretty sure it was that red phone. It's an old school style, not full rotary. It's the Bell a touch tone phone. But like I really like again. I don't know if it's the same exact New York location as the one that was in Ghostbusters 2, but clearly you see the signs there saying Occult Books.
Mm-hmm.
It was called Raise a Cult, and maybe this is how you call Ray and you get the old gang back together, the surviving members of Ghostbusters.
Oh my God, they're going to show up all at once.
I would think so, right?
So does that mean, so they would show up in the Ecto 1, right?
Or maybe the Ecto 1A. Because Ecto 1's at Spangler's farm.
Got it.
So maybe the Ecto 1A. That'd be cool.
Yeah. Slime packs. I want more slime packs. I always love the slime packs.
I love the slime packs. I agree. The slime blowers. I absolutely. And Judy said, Jason said the bookstore was an exact replica. So, okay. So there you go. Direct tie-in to Ghostbusters 2. And we kind of knew because they said 30 years since the last Ghost thing, which would tie in with Ghostbusters 2. And
do you think the movie will start with 32 years later?
Oh my God. I would be pretty pumped if they did.
I mean, you got it, right? It's Ghostbusters 2 set a precedent for that.
They did, and I'd be cool with it. And I think Jason Reitman, one of the stars of Ghostbusters 2, mind you,
Right.
would put that little nod in there, I would think. As long as it doesn't follow up the 5 years later with boop 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 boop.
You getting the record?
No, I'm not. I love the pink slime look and everything.
Yeah.
But I don't care for that score at all. I love Ghostbusters 2, but that score is so bad. I hate it. Again, I want somebody to rescore Ghostbusters 2 with the Elmer Bernstein score and see how much
anything else.
Space Cowboy agrees. Ray Peter Winston will obviously show up in the Ecto 1A. I think that'd be really cool. That would be pure fan service, but like the Ecto 1's there, they pull up in the Ecto 1A. Oh, that'd be so cool. Because I think what kind of led me to believe that they're both existing at the same time is one, clearly the Ecto 1A looks very different from the Ecto 1, and they're riding in the Ecto 1, which also has had upgrades put into it, clearly. But in the yard, there's all these other caddies and different things. So clearly they're kind of kit bashing cars together. So there's no reason they can't have an Ecto 1A and the Ecto 1 at the same time. It's almost hitting us over the head that that's the case.
Well, I mean, we want to see Winston and Ray in the Ecto 1 again, right? But I could see Pete showing up in a helicopter. Like he's gonna join him, but he's not gonna get in the Ecto 1. Like he's just gonna, yeah.
Yeah, you're right. Like Peter Venkman's entrance, I'm sure it's well thought out.
It's gonna be different. I think it's gonna be different.
It has to be different. Like Winston, Ray, because what's cool about Winston and Ray in the front seat, it echoes that scene from the first movie,
right.
Judgment Day scene between the two of them. I think that's really cool. And then Peter showing up in some other form or fashion.
I love that scene.
It drives him there or something, but
yeah, that's one of my favorite scenes in Ghostbusters.
Oh, absolutely.
It's like it shows that they're just regular working stiffs. Like not everything is an adventure, or not everything is like this, grand moment. It's just like sometimes you're just driving to and from the office and you're listening to tunes and you have conversations. Like it really grounded them as just guys. So I'd like to see that again. And I could see them pulling out the rack of proton packs out of the back, and maybe Venkman sleeping in the back and pulling out the rack, something like that. I feel like he's going to have something, and I don't know what it is, but it's going to be, it's going to be super like Pete Venkman.
It has to be.
It's something. And I can't wait to see what it is.
I think Peter needs to be, hopefully, you never know, life's crazy, but I like the idea of, if it's not a Greyhound bus or a helicopter, maybe it's just like Dana Barris driving him there in their car and he gets out of the car or something like that. I don't know. That'd be fun. Free Reign agrees the Judgment Day scene is the best, including the beer on the dash. Yep. I love it all of Ghostbusters, so I'm not going to sit here and act like one thing, but I do love that scene as well. Peter steps off a Greyhound bus. That works. I think surprise fourth GB being Oscar. That'd be interesting.
He'd be in his 30s.
Yeah, it'd be there. And Free Reign says, "Whoa, the GB2 score is great. Pre-order now." I listen. It's fine if you like it, and I'm happy for you. But for me, I hate the score. I hate it.
Right. It's a beautifully packaged, though.
It is.
It's like,
it looks amazing.
I would never listen to it. It's such a bummer. Such a bummer.
Paul Rudd was Oscar. Oscar was blonde. The actor's blonde.
Right.
I can't remember which one passed away of the twins. But yeah. It'd be interesting how that. Yeah, and to the helicopter live action Ecto 2, from the real Ghostbusters. That'd be fun in some way, form, or fashion. Surprise fourth being Rick Moranis. Rick Moranis has kind of reintroduced himself to the public.
Right.
Do you think Rick Moranis has an appearance? Like he said he's not, I think, from what I've read.
Right.
Yeah.
Tough to say. We'll see. A lot has changed in the last year and a half. Mm-hmm. When did he say it? And then I'm sure Jason Reitman could have left something open to where, like, hey, if you want to do it, we have a spot.
Yep. Exactly. He's going to be on the Honey I Shrunk the Kids show. So, like, if he can do that, he can show up in Ghostbusters Afterlife. Come on, Rick.
Right.
Do it, Rick. Do it for the kids. Lolo Pap, live action Extreme Ghostbusters. Absolutely. Because in Extreme Ghostbusters, one of the last episodes was a two-parter. It was called Back in the Saddle Again. And, Egon lived in the firehouse, and the other three Ghostbusters came, and they kind of had the new kids and the old school GBs together fighting a thing. And it was those two episodes are fantastic, and had all the old voice actors from real Ghostbusters come back. Unfortunately, it wasn't Maurice LaMarche Maurice LaMarche as Egon, right? Lorenzo Music didn't come back as Peter. It was Dave Coulier who did it after season 3.
Okay.
But still, same voice actors that had it last it was on the air. And a little primer for maybe what we are going to experience in Ghostbusters Afterlife. Here we go. A special £5 sterling. Thank you, Centriviz Gaming, for that.
Also, like the Clue avatar.
Yeah, Tron. By the way, Ralph, I've seen some pictures of the arcade 1-up Tron.
Okay.
Kiss. Chef's kiss, my friend.
Okay.
There's room for it.
There's room
for it. It's smaller than a real one, but it looks almost identical. All right, so I love the ghost in the cafe in the trailer. Agreed. The zombie is, and if you miss it, Centriviz, we talked about it. Really, I just love the callback to the taxi driver.
Right. Here's hoping there's more of those too.
Lorenzo Music died before Real Ghostbusters ended. I didn't think he died that young. I think Lorenzo died. I thought he died in maybe the late 90s. But I could be
so
wrong.
Weird. That whole Lorenzo Music
died in 2001. So the Lorenzo Music could have done the voice of Peter Venkman in Extreme Ghostbusters.
If he was feeling well.
True, maybe he was still
sick. Health problems.
Maybe. But anywho. But again, thank you, Centrez, for the $5. Appreciate it. Or £5. Lil Pappy said that it will only return if it's the right part from him, as far as I heard from Rick Moranis. Come on, Rick Moranis. Nick Tillinger. Dave Coulier, who I don't know. It's crazy to think one of the seminal albums of the 1990s was based on a breakup with Dave Coulier.
Right.
And those don't know Jagged Little Pill, right?
Yeah.
My wife is a huge Alanis Morissette fan. Let's see. I sold my Arkham Up Asteroids when I got an actual full-size Asteroids machine. Good for you. I have a full-size Galaga and a full-size, a real cocktail Miss Pack. Did not die before XGB. Died after. He died in 2001. Isn't it ironic? Isn't it ironic? I agree, Space Cowboy. Don't you think? All right. So that's the trailer. Hasbro dropped a lot of reveals for their toy line for a new game. So let's look at this real quick. And just so you know, this could be considered spoilers. Again, it's nothing that's out of left field. If you even saw the thumbnail of this episode, I showed pictures of it. But 8 Die Back, do you think the video game is the true third movie? To me, yeah, I think most people consider the video game the third movie with the original cast. I do. It's a great story. I love the story and how it ties 1 and 2 together really well. Yeah, Hasbro basically dropped a spoiler again, but we knew the OGs were going to be in it, but I think it kind of solidified maybe what the next gen kids are going to be. So just be aware of that. And yes, I think did I agree to go to the Alanis Morissette concert? I guess I did. Anyway, all right. So Gizmodo dropped a bunch of reveals outside the Plasma series for Hasbro. One being a Ghostbusters Afterlife clue. And I hate when they do the slideshows because it means there's like 10,000 advertisements I got to try and go through. But one, we have this cool radio-controlled trap with Muncher in it. And
spoiler.
Well, we assume maybe it's in the trailer. We assume
he gets caught,
taken by it, but
we'll see.
I love this toy. I want this toy. I know my kids would dig this toy. It's radio controlled. This looks awesome.
Just don't ride it.
Oh, I can't ride the little RC car.
Oh, it's uncomfortable.
And then,
ooh, what are these? I haven't seen these.
Yeah, so we had the I did a video on it with the OG 84 Ghostbusters for the Fright Features series. And these are the kids. So Podcast, Phoebe, Lucky, and what's Finn Wolfhard's name? Trevor. And Podcast is the little kid, little boy. Phoebe is Spangler's granddaughter. Trevor, Spangler's grandson. And Lucky is that friend that I keep saying Finn Wolfhard, but Trevor presumably makes when he comes into town. So what I love is you have a little Muncher companion ghost and 2 other random ones. This little octopus-looking guy, this little guy. But we have a little Bug-Eye ghost, a little Kenner nod here. The Bug-Eye ghost is also being re-released in the Kenner Classics line. This is the re-release version of the Bug-Eye ghost. So that's a really cool little companion ghost. So really excited about that. Something of note for the classic 84 Ghostbusters, and it's something that I was talking to Toy Shiz about, because he asked me, he was like, those aren't the same ones that you got with your set. Yeah. So in between those few that did come out last year, I did the review of these figures in June of 2020. Got my hand on a set. The Winston came with a Slimer, and Venkman came with a Terror Dog. And for whatever reason, the figures that are hitting toy shelves right now does not have, they've duplicated the 2 ghosts that came with Egon and Ray with Peter and Winston. Don't know why that's the case. But, well, I don't know. I looked to get all of these, so I'll try and do a comparison, maybe see, is there something maybe that for safety reasons they couldn't keep Slimer in, or maybe Slimer's going to be in the movie and we got taken out of the movie. I don't know. I really don't know. So thankful I got those figures a year ago, because maybe we'll never get those. So
are they still on card? You took them out? I
opened them for the show. Yeah. I'm an opener in general, but figures are worth a fortune now. Yeah, if they never release that Terror Dog and Slimer again, I guess so. we'll see. Stay tuned to the channel, see how that all plays out. These also look a little shorter than the ones that I got a year ago. So we'll see how these compare. I have the sets from that kind of leaked out a year ago, and these are the ones that are hitting targets now. So we'll see how that all plays out. But just something interesting that they took out the Slimer and Terror Dog. Terror Dog we know is in the movie because it's in the trailer, and I assume maybe Slimer will be in the movie, but it'll be interesting to see. Lucky J, rarest GB toy. I don't know. Maybe it is now. You could sell it and retire. That's what I tell my wife anyway. All the time I buy these stupid things. Clue, which is really cool because I like the kind of haunted house motif that they're going with here. I haven't played Clue in years, but this looks like a lot of fun. Looks like a fun set.
Oh, they have the little ghost trap RC.
Yeah, you got Proton Pack, Echo Goggles, PKE Meter, Ghost Trap, RTV, and an Aztec Whistle. We haven't seen that in the trailer or anything. Minor Ghosts, which you saw in the trailer, the Gatekeeper, the Keymaster, Gozer, Muncher, and Slimer. So we have to assume Slimer's making an appearance in this movie, right?
I feel like, yeah. Wasn't Slimer an Answer the Call?
He was.
Slimer's like kind of a mascot at this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Tobin's Spirit Guide.
That's fun.
So that's cool. Dig that. So it looks like a fun little set. I love Clue. So having Ghostbusters is pretty cool. And again, you could have seen all those on Toy Shiz. Another thing that I believe was on there, everyone's going to use Toy Shiz's. We got this cool Nerf gun.
It's like a marshmallow shooter.
Yeah, with marshmallow shooter, but it has little branded mini puff faces on the big marshmallows, which is pretty cool.
Hopefully that's not just on the packaging.
Oh, you're right. It has to be on the puffs, right? I assume
it better be, but I can see it being a graphic on the plastic.
Fingers crossed. Please be on the
puffs. I don't want to be that. I don't want to be like a bearer of bad news. So hoping they're on the puffs. They got to be on the puffs.
They gotta be. And the news that Hasbro dropped today.
Oh, they're cool looking.
So we have the kids in Ghostbusters gear. So I guess we can assume they're taking on the Ghostbuster mantle. Even though we assume that was the case, but it's now even more so.
I mean, the movie's called Ghostbusters. You got to have somebody dressed as Ghostbusters. You're not going to not have them dressed as Ghostbusters.
Absolutely. So we have Lucky, Trevor, and Podcast. Again, I love that his name is Podcast. As a veteran, you and I both, veteran podcasters. That's fun.
16 years.
And then we have the old timer Ghostbusters.
Oh, man.
So I think it's really cool. Again, we knew they were going to be in the film, but I guess now we can know that they're going to be gearing up in the suits.
Or it's just a fun sort of toy release.
True. We don't know for sure. But I would assume if they're putting these out.
Right.
But I love it. I'm really excited. And, if on Ghostbusters Day they reveal those glow-in-the-dark plasma series, like, I don't care about these. These I do care about. I'm really excited about it.
Yeah.
It's 6 figures in this wave. Phoebe looks like they made one, but it looks like a separate figure outside of this wave because these will all have a Build-A-Figure. That is Podcast wearing Crocs. It looks like it. It looks like Podcast is wearing Crocs. But the Sentinel Terror Dog looks to be the Build-A-Figure in this wave, in this plasma.
And he's partially ghost.
Mm-hmm. Which kind of how we saw in the trailer, right? It's kind of more the it's not was a full torso apparition, torso up of this character, of this Sentinel.
It's cool looking.
Yeah. So again, pretty cool stuff. Excited to see the old school GBs here. Excited to see the kids geared up in the gear. Again, here's the Phoebe character.
Okay.
wearing Spangler's suit.
Yeah, I was gonna say it looks pretty baggy.
Mm-hmm. And again, it's kind of a bummer that the Plasma Series Ecto 1 we're getting is not scaled to these figures. So I don't know how if they could pull it off, but I would really hope that they can make one scaled to these guys. Which would be cool. Can finally make my Lost in Translation Bill Murray custom. There you go. Bet. Nick Dillinger, if they make Ghostbusters Crocs, they will finally break me and I'll buy a pair. Then my bones will turn to dust.
Never worn Crocs. Are they comfortable?
People say they're comfortable. And they're making a comeback, like kids, like Gen Z and stuff, way into them. But they just look so ugly. So ugly. But maybe that's their appeal. I don't know.
Maybe.
Dartherian, when do we get Plasma Series Ray from the Casper movie? That, you know, one, I saw that movie in the theaters. And again, a Ghostbusters geek that did not have a place to share my fandom with people at that time. Seeing that on the screen, I was like, and my family who was with me, who knew me as a Ghostbuster geek and would make fun of me every single day, like, oh, shut up, Jay. Like, it's just in the movie. It doesn't matter. But to me, it mattered. Even though it's kind of a bummer that he was a scared Ghostbuster, but whatever. I still thought it was cool. He was on screen there for a second. Let's see. If Plasma Series continues after these, will they do other characters? I hope so. I really hope so. We'll see. You know, obviously they've had a whole lot of this stuff back. We're finally getting it now. It's hitting stores right now. This, not the Plasma Series, but the Fright Feature stuff, a lot of the main toy line stuff is hitting Targets right now. In fact, the Fright Features Ecto 1, my buddy Shannon, he lives about an hour out, found one at Target, bought one for me. So if I don't find one at Target by tomorrow, I'm picking it up from the friend tomorrow. And I'll be doing a review of it. Really excited to finally get the Ecto 1 to go with those figures that I got over a year ago. So pumped about that. So be on the look on the channel for that. Jamie Vaughn, Crocs are the best house shoes. I can't disagree with you. Actually, I can. I've never used it, but so whatever. I've heard more of them. Who you gonna call? Somebody else. Yeah, that always bugged me. Did you hear about people stealing the heads from Space Jam 2 LeBron figures? I saw a headless one at my Target. Interesting. Are they making custom LeBron figures, I guess?
Maybe.
All Music Fan asks, Walmart or Target? Target seems to be putting out their Ghostbuster displays. If you follow Toy Shiz on Instagram, I'll just pull it up. But they're like putting it all out there. Here you go. Yeah. So this is a picture from Mission Viejo, California.
That's near me.
And so, you know, if you know where the Plasma Series figures have been, it seems like they are, makes sense, are going to be around there. So you have these ghosts. You have Stay Puft, Muncher, and Slimer. And then you have the 84 figures with the ghosts. The figures look shorter than the other ones. I'm curious to see how that plays out once I get these in hand. Luckily, I kept the boxes too to see if there's any variants in the boxes. And then you have the Ecto 1 underneath it. So I have this Ecto 1 coming to me tomorrow. And again, we saw a lot of these figures at Toy Fair. And again, you can go to Toy Shiz. He has the DCPIs if you need to search for them. But they look cool. I'm really pumped about getting this Ecto 1 tomorrow in my hands. So there you go. But yeah, so the ghosts, the companion ghosts, are different than the ones that I got last time. Be interesting. So be on the lookout. If you check your targets, they've been found in North Carolina. They've been found in California. Seems like it goes coast and then center of the United States. So just be on the lookout for that. Yeah, the August reset. It's coming to Grid to your toy house. Yeah. So again, these seem to be a pretty wide toy release, so it's not very limited. So hopefully these are pretty easy to find. I don't think there's going to be have to hunt too hard for these figures. All Music Fan, it'll take my state another month before they get them in. That's how it goes. Damn coastal toy elites. Oh man. But anyways, there you go. Boom. Special Ghostbusters. Screen Geeks.
Yeah.
Boom. I'm excited. Are you excited, Ralph?
Very excited. More so for the movie, but I got to tell you, those toys are pretty awesome. I think the Plasma series? I think those are cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm pumped for those. Jamie Vaughn says, I think the Lego Ecto 1 Pro model might be big enough. Yes, it is. It is to scale. It is to scale. I have it right here. Carefully, so don't drop it.
Don't break it. There's no way to put it back together if you break it.
I mean, you could.
I mean,
but yeah, it does scale with the. Zach and I put this together around Christmas time, I believe, if I'm remembering correctly. But yeah, so this does scale. But again, it's a Lego, so it's not.
Yeah.
It's cool that it scales to that. And again, I didn't put on any of the Rusty stickers because I wanted to look like, the first movie, even though the gunner seat is there. Which is it? It's on this side. The way Lego does their stuff is just so cool. Let's see. There it is. Boom. Gunner seat pops out, which is so cool. Freaking love Lego, man. Like they're just firing on all cylinders. And then you got this part back here to pull out the RC car. Pops out the bottom. Boom, the RC car comes out.
That's awesome.
Freaking. And the thing is, like with this build especially, like it's just such a every section of the build has a fun thing to do. And even you fully put the engine together and there's like moving parts and stuff that you see when you're moving the wheel, and like it's so cool. If you have not gotten the Lego Ecto 1, they're at Targets too. I mean, they're kind of premium Lego sections now. Well worth the price of admission. It's a really, really good Lego set.
Don't drop it.
I know.
Get in there.
There you go. All right. I still got the little Lego as well.
That's cool too.
All right, Ralph. How much? I think it's $199. I believe it's the big one. It's $199, which again, not too bad. Not too bad. All right. There you have it. Ghostbusters. What a great day for Ghostbuster geeks. Make this even again. Ralph, thank you for jumping on and doing a special Screen Geeks with tonight. And what's coming up next on this channel? Hopefully, maybe not tomorrow, but Thursday, we'll be posting my review of the Hasbro Fright Features Ecto 1. I'll be getting that in hand tomorrow, so be on the lookout for that. And maybe I'll find even more of these toys as they come out. But definitely hit the like, hit subscribe, click on that bell icon to be notified when the latest episode of Geek Dad Life drops. And until next time, hasta luego and goodbye.